Let's stay with more election news. DA leader John Steenhuisen has led a picket outside Cosatu's headquarters in Braamfontein. That action is in line with their manifesto promise to scrap the minimum wage. SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri has more.
Well, very good morning to you, and of course to our SABC viewers. Well, yesterday we saw a number of political parties celebrating, commemorating Workers' Day across the country. Of course, the Democratic Alliance was in the city of Cape Town, so as Cosatu. And today they're in Johannesburg, standing and picketing just outside Cosatu House over what it says is Cosatu's job-killing labor legislation. Now, you would remember that last week, Friday, the Democratic Alliance had actually proposed its new economic policy, saying that should they govern the country post the May 29 elections, they would be implementing a number of economic policies to actually recover, the economy, and introducing 2 million jobs in a period of 5 years. Of course, some of those that actually stand out is the conversion of the SRD grants into a job seeking grants. And today the party leader actually introduced or said that the party would want to introduce a youth employment opportunity certificate. But to talk to us more about that, I'm joined by the leader of the Democratic Alliance, Mr. John Steenhuisen. John, thank you so much for joining us in SABC News. Kindly just elaborate on the youth employment opportunity certificate.
Well, one of the problems is with the minimum wage, it's a disincentive now for businesses to take on younger people who don't have work experience. So what we're saying is that through the Youth Employment Opportunity Certificate, you will grant young people the opportunity to exempt themselves from the minimum wage to make themselves far more attractive and easier for business to hire. In doing so, they will get a job opportunity where they will be paid. Secondly, they will have all the basic Conditions of Employment Act protections that would make sure that they're not exploited. And thirdly, they will be able to get the much needed experience that will allow them to start climbing the job ladder. At this current stage, the minimum wage is a massive disincentive to a large majority of younger work seekers and it's a massive disincentive for business to be absorbing these young school leavers, which is why 7 out of 10 young people in the country cannot find a job, and why we've got unemployed graduates standing on the streets of our cities begging for jobs.
Now, you said there's nothing to celebrate. Workers shouldn't even celebrate May Day because there's so many millions of South Africans that are actually out of jobs. Yesterday, you reiterated the same message. And yesterday, Cosatu President Salosi had said that the ANC is the only political party that has championed the rights of workers through, like you've mentioned, the minimum wage and maternity benefits.
Well, of course, you have to have some of those benefits, and not all of them are bad. But the minimum wage is a major disincentive. We're not saying scrap the minimum wage. What we've said is keep the current minimum wage at its current level for existing workers, so nobody's going to lose any benefits that they currently have. But for goodness sake, let's provide an opportunity for more young people to do it. And you know what, Natasha? The hypocrisy is that the government does this themselves. If you look at the EPWP rate that they pay, it's way below the minimum wage. So they're relying government to do what we're essentially saying, allow the public sector to do as well, and the private sector to do as well. Let's rather look at getting people into some form of employment where they can earn something, rather than just simply saying you won't earn anything at all.
So, John, tomorrow is a very crucial day. It's the last day for people to apply for special votes. Your message to South Africans?
Well, of course, if you need to apply for a special vote, you need to do it, and that is the cut-off date. You won't be able to apply later for a special vote. So my message to all of the South Africans is make sure that you've made those applications. We've got our activists and people fanning out across the country, assisting people to apply for those special votes. And of course, make sure that you ensure that the paperwork's properly done so that you can cast your vote. In this election, every single vote is going to count. And there's just too much on the ballot paper for anybody not to vote in this election.
We are 27 days away from the elections. You've just quickly touched on something that's very crucial. You talk about your activists. Do you think the DA has done enough to actually educate the voters about the 3 ballots on the voting day?
Yes, of course. And of course, there's more I think that we can all do around educating voters around this. But certainly we are having workshops all around the country. Our activists are in communities explaining to people how these 3 ballots work, etc. But of course, for us, it's easy. We just say, look for the DA logo and vote DA on all 3 ballots. Problem solved.
Thank you so much. That was the leader of the Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen, not only talking about issues around the picket here behind me, but of course electoral matters. You would know that we are 27 days away from those crucial polls. And of course, the 3rd of May, tomorrow, Friday, marks the last day for people to actually apply for special votes. And the message here from the DA leader is that he's imploring South Africans to go out in their number to apply for those special votes. With that said, it's back to you in studio.
All right, Natasha Phiri there for us in Braamfontein.